Like, really, if you think about this podcast thing, we're just like we're like creating images in each other's minds back and forth.
Yeah.
It's like I see this, you see this, I see that, you know, but it's like it's just a fake. I guess you just don't like the word fake. It's a fabricated, it's a
Designed.
it's a designed experiential thing that's made auditorily.
Hmm.
Like I'm trying to paint something in your head so you could see what I'm seeing. And that's what communication is.
Hmm.
It's like, can I make you see what I'm seeing
Right.
in my head
Yeah.
and implant it in your head?
Hmm.
It's I forgot what the term was. Somatic frequencies. So so there's a guy, Forbidden Knowledge, Billy Carson, and he was saying like somatic frequencies. Everything that you say is a somatic frequency. And what that is like I'm literally shooting when I said somatic frequencies, Tara was like, "Oh yeah, I know what that is." I was like, "What? Spiritual?" And she's like, "No, that's actually like a doctor term." So but he's using it in a spiritual way.
Sure.
So as I'm saying something, it's bouncing off, it's shooting out of my mouth and hitting your eardrum and going into your brain. That's a somatic frequency.
Hmm.
But what he said, so she's like, "Yeah, that's the mechanism." But he's using it in a different way, which is like that thing that hits your brain is creating something.
Hmm.
So we're all creating spells on each other through words,
Sure. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's why they call it spelling because you're casting spells with every single thing you say
Hmm.
to another person. That's why you have to watch your words,
Hmm.
you know. And it's like, if you really think about it, that's what all dialogue, all podcasts, all conversations are just like spell casting back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird to think about, though, right?
That's interesting. No, but that's true though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's true.
That's
But
true.
if you take away that, we're just living like the animals, bro.
That's what it depends on who's controlling the words, right? I hear that you see when things got translated when they translate something.
Mm.
So like I see this with some like Hindu TikToks and things like that. Text that people have read, if they've converted from Sanskrit or Vedas or like even the Bhagavad Gita, where they're using and then they use words like God. These are not they God is not a word in Sanskrit.
Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying.
It's an English word. So there's already a connotation behind that word.
Right.
You've already changed the meaning.
Yes. And I think maybe that's why I'm so impressed with people that can speak multiple languages because you know more spells than me,
Yeah.
right? 'Cause it's like, I don't know that many spells. So I'm going to say God. And you're
Exactly.
like, oh,
We're
but
limited. Yeah, we're limited
right.
in the vocabulary that we have. Yeah.
But but if you know more words, if you know more languages, it's like I can cast way more spells
Hmm.
than like this limited freaking assortment that I have of like words that
Sure.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. But again, it's like there's yes, that's true. Now it's like now if you go back to economy, what's better for the world? Having
Mhm.
people having different languages or having one language?
One language for sure. We
Yeah,
can get
which
along.
and it makes sense. Like if you see like someone was explaining like how India's growth is a very much slower growth because most of the uh, in the nation speak many multiple different languages, so they can't coalesce on one. And
Right.
as in China, it's generally just one, right, as the main one,
Yeah.
right? So it's easier to communicate to the your whole citizens,
Right.
and
Nothing
you
lost in translation. You can get things done. Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what the story of the Tower of Babel is.
mhm,
Like the humans were getting out of hand because they could all speak the same language, so they were building things that like the gods were worried about. So God is actually in the Bible, so technically God, not plural, um, destroyed their building and then made them all learn different languages so that they can't speak to one another.
it's interesting.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, it's a story in the Bible because we were getting too powerful.
Mhm.
But if you look at the Anunnaki story from like the Forbidden Knowledge, it's like God as an alien. He's like, oh, these monkeys are getting too powerful, so I'm going to distort their understanding,
Right.
like cast them out. One last thing, I thought this was interesting because you kept saying it over and over. You're like campfire stories. Um, I don't know what it is, but like there are certain truths that like resonate with you, and then they're like true, and then you stick to them for the rest of your life. Okay, so do you remember what? it was before God Light My Fire.
No.
I didn't even come up with God Light My Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so it was Boys of Campfire.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And remember that now?
Sure. Yeah, I
And
think so.
and the reason why is because campfire is campfire stories. We're all huddled around, creating community, sharing stories,
Mm-hmm.
right? But again, it's like I didn't know what this was. I was just like, no, there's something here, right? I was in like networking, I think, taking a networking course, like computers, and then I had taken some business courses, and I was like, oh, this is it, marketing. Like this is what's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
pulling me.
Right.
And then it was like, oh, campfire stories. Okay, like this is how you share knowledge, blah blah. Blah. But like years later, we're still bringing up that same thing because it's like universally true.
Mm-hmm.
Campfires are how we like built things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like Gotta Light My Fire, I didn't even realize the connotations till like more recently after going
Mm.
through like more spiritual growth. Like that was just because I was like, oh, I was in Hong Kong and it was like campfireco.com, boys of campfire. And then some like we were brainstorming. I literally co-opted this meeting room where instead of working on the business, I started to ask them questions about what I was trying to build. So, and then this one girl was like, call it Gotta Light My Fire. And I'm like, what? Why? And she was like, it just sounds cool. Gotta Light My Fire. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, sure. So I bought the domain and like started building it from there. Right. But it's like, but that's what we're all doing. We're all lighting each other's fire.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
did that even, how did like, it's like
Yeah, it's
full
interesting. Yeah.
circle is like,
Yeah. 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 Of course. Yeah.
but there was something there inside me that's like, this is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like years later, you're like, oh, it's correct for these reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Is time an illusion? I haven't finished the book yet, but there's this book I'm reading called Time Loops. And basically it's about how like time is non-linear.
Mm-hmm.
We experience time linearly, right? But in reality, time is happening all at once. So we're able to access like the future and the past, like, but
Okay.
through
Yeah.
our minds.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like we're experiencing it physically as a linear progression. But they talked about this in yoga too, which is Prakriti and Prashua. So Prakriti is nature, it's always changing, and then Prashua is timeless.
Mm-hmm.
It's your soul, which is like independent of change, right? So if that's true, if the Hindus have it right, then like is time happening all at once and we can like peer into the future and then bring it back? Or like that's what intuition is. It's like the future you's like, hey man, come this way, come this way. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, but like my intuition's forcing me in that direction because your future self is like guiding you.
Sure.
Sounds weird, but like there's a science book I'm reading right now. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what are we talking about? You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yes. Um. There's
Sounds
multiple
weird.
ways. Yes and no, because it's we also bring in the DNA from the past,
It's true
past
too.
experiences or ancestral
Like
experiences that
epigenetics, you mean?
yeah
Yeah.
that are affecting our choices as well.
But that makes sense though, because like it's already happened. But what about the future self that hasn't been manifested yet, but you feel it. There's like an intuition. You're like, I need to go that way. You don't even know why. And then later you're like, perfect example. Or maybe it's a chicken and or I really gotta go, um, but it's funny because
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's actually a tattoo example. Like I'm about to go get a tattoo, and that's why I have to like go because I gotta prep for it. But like, so these tattoos, right? I've always wanted tattoos. So chicken or egg? Did I suddenly get a bunch of tattoos because as a kid I always wanted them? Or was the future me already having tattoos and being like, dude, you're gonna love these tattoos? You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
weird. That's a
Same
weird
thing. Yeah, that'd be the
weird girl.
opposite. Yeah, exactly. It's like I know I don't like tattoos, so I'm not gonna
You.
have tattoo. Yeah, for me, it's the
Yeah, yeah.
opposite way, right? So
But I no, but the thing is this, I hate pain. The reason why I have to prep for these tattoos, I gotta
sure.
numb the area before
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
tattoo, and that takes at least an hour. Like, I have to,
But
like,
it,
wrap.
but it's also like you waited till you figured out that there was a solution.
It's true too. It's true too.
So
No, but, like, did I know that was gonna happen? Or, like, chicken and egg. It's like, did I search for the solution, or was I pulled to the solution? I've always loved tattoos. I used to draw on my hands all the time.
no, I think because you've always loved tattoos, you would be drawn to finding solutions because you want a tattoo.
Ah, true, true, true. It's like numbing cream for, injections too. I always hated
Yeah,
injections.
you're finding a solution because you wanted something. How do I get to that point without? Because there's something that is blocking it,
True, true,
right?
true, true, true. But then in this moment, like there'll be moments where I'm like walking Athena with chair and I'm like, oh, I love my life. How did I build this?
Hmm.
But then it's like, but was that current me being like to kid me, hey, go do this?
No,
Or
no, I think it's just intuition that was there.
it was just like I was just going forward. I'm like, I'm gonna build this no matter what.
Yeah,
Maybe. I don't know. And no, I agree with you. Like
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
practical
No,
way of looking
yeah,
at it.
sure, sure, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
But yeah,
like,
again, yeah, this is philosophical, right? So it's like
yeah, true.
it's to each our own.
No, yeah,
So
right. It's just fake. It's fake, right? Like in the end of the
what
day, I'm
story
gonna
do you want
protect
to
my
believe?
yeah, totally. Yeah, facts, facts, facts. Touche, you got me with my own how dare you use my spells against me, Potter. My spells because you're using words. Like, look at
Mm.
that. Yeah. Um, wait, I want to say one more thing about that. There's hmm, damn, I lost my train of thought. But yes, you're right. It is really just like how you want to perceive it. But oh no, I remember what I was gonna say. Um, have you ever had this though? Okay, oh, I really gotta go. All right, last thing. So, have you ever had this experience where you're like, something's divinely guiding me though? So, what I mean by that is this: it's not like I'm going forward to guessing. It's like I'll just do this thing, and then I'm like, oh, I don't know how that's gonna work out. Then all of a sudden, it works out. So, for example, I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for this. Boom, here's extra money. You're like, oh, cool,
Hmm.
and you're like, didn't expect that. You know what I mean? Or like I'm gonna go left instead of right, and then like when you go left, it's like, "Ooh, a car hit that thing. That
Sure.
was
Yeah,
lucky."
yeah, yeah.
Are these just more stories we're telling ourselves, or like,
I think so. Yeah,
yeah, maybe,
I think they are. Yeah. Well,
but
I'm more,
practical,
in
totally, totally, yeah,
in the
yeah.
atheistic field, so
No, but
like
like,
that's gonna
but
lead
I don't
my.
believe in God. I think it's more like with the
Yeah, sure,
time loop
sure.
thing. It's just time loops, man. In the book, I'm like, I haven't finished it yet, but like, it's just this idea that if time, because the Hindu said this, I'm like, what are you guys trying to say here? Where it's like our soul is independent of time. It knows what's already happened.
Hmm.
Like they say in yoga, like you're watching the movie of your life play out. So all movies have a start and end. They know how it's going to play out,
Hmm.
but you're watching it for the entertainment. I'm experiencing life for the entertainment, but like I already know how it's going to end. I'm going to die with tattoos and like whatever. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
As long as you keep following the path, though.
Yeah, yeah. I think, but we've set it up right. If you already know how you're gonna die, or like you've got that idea,
Mm.
you're following that direction.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's a bit of both. It's like future
Sure.
projection and then following it through. It's like it's like accomplishing any goal. Like I want to be a black belt. All right, cool. Vroom. Just keep following
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And there's no way to. Yeah. Then you can't say like, oh, how do I get here? How do I get a back belt?
It's like, bro, dude, you
You
just
were
kept
this.
doing it.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I'm making this more complicated than it is, and it's literally just like you just keep following, and then all the divine interventions are really just like happenstance and luck.
Hmm.
But it's just a story. You're right. Story we tell ourselves. All right. Until next week.